Today, we're going to talk about the 4 nutty secrets that seniors should snack on. And if you stay till the end, I'll tell you what seniors should avoid when it comes to nuts. I'm a leading expert in the area of longevity and healthy aging. And today's episode is all about nuts. They are so good for us because they are full of healthy fats and fiber and protein. They're also full of antioxidants, but some nuts are better than others. So let me share with you my top 4. Number 1 is pistachios. Pistachios are unique because they have a very low amount of saturated fat and they are full of unsaturated fats. This means that they can actually help lower your bad cholesterol, your LDL, and they'll increase your good cholesterol or HDL. They're also a good source of fiber and protein and again, full of antioxidants. A study done by the Annals of Internal Medicine shows that eating pistachios can lower the risk of heart disease and stroke by up to 21%. That's huge. Just remember, like all nuts, don't eat too many pistachios because they're high in calories. Stick to 1 serving, which is about 49. Now, this is true for all nuts. If you overeat nuts, you will gain weight. Nuts are great until you love them more than you love yourself. Okay? So just keep that in mind. Some people, if they start eating pistachios, they get addicted and then they're eating way too much. 1 serving of pistachios, about 49. Also, it turns out that the best way to eat pistachios is to eat them in moderation and only eat them occasionally. Let me explain. So, for example, if you go to the grocery store, buy them and bring them home, but don't keep them in your pantry. Bring them out each time you want to eat them. Or another thing you can do is buy them shelled. That way you have to open up each pistachio to get to the nut inside. And this takes a lot longer than just shelling them yourself, right? So again, I'm telling you these things are addictive. So if you just follow those 2 simple rules, you should be fine. Number 2 is macadamia nuts. Macadamia nuts are super high in monounsaturated fats. In fact, they're second only to olive oil. When it comes to monounsaturated fats, macadamia nuts are also a great source of magnesium and vitamin E. The Journal of Nutrition did a study where they looked at over 70,000 women, and they found that those who ate macadamia nuts had a lower risk of developing cancer, especially breast cancer. Another study showed that if you replace saturated fats with macadamia nuts, you can improve your overall cholesterol profile, including raising good cholesterol and lowering triglycerides. Now it turns out that macadamia nuts have special antimicrobial properties, meaning they fight off inflammation in the body. Macadamia nuts are extremely anti-inflammatory. Another thing about macadamia nuts is that they are delicious. I've never met anybody who doesn't like macadamia nuts. It's very rare. Maybe you're one of them. But in general, most people love macadamia nuts and they're easy to snack on. Again, 1 serving of macadamia nuts is about 14. Number 3 is walnuts. Walnuts are full of omega-3 fatty acids, and they are one of the best sources of plant-based omega-3. They're also full of antioxidants, and they're another nut that's excellent for fighting inflammation. You may already know that omega-3 fatty acids are great for the brain and the heart. Well, walnuts have both of those things. Walnuts are also an excellent source of melatonin, which is why some people like to eat walnuts before bed. A study was done looking at people who ate a diet rich in walnuts, and they found that their blood sugar levels were lower, their insulin levels were lower, and their cholesterol improved. Again, it's the omega-3 fatty acids that make walnuts such a superstar when it comes to improving cholesterol and reducing inflammation. Another really cool thing about walnuts is that they're easy to eat. You just crack them open. You don't need any special tools. You can do it right with your bare hands, right? Like I could sit here and crack walnuts. Of course, I can't show you right now because I don't want to make a mess, but I could do it. It's easy. 1 serving of walnuts is about 14. Now, even though walnuts are full of healthy fats, you shouldn't use them to replace your omega-3 fatty acids from fish. Fish is still better. Number 4 is Brazil nuts. Out of all the nuts, Brazil nuts are number 1 when it comes to selenium. They're a great source of fiber and protein, and they're also another nut that's excellent at fighting inflammation. And yes, even though they're called Brazil nuts, they're not actually nuts. They're seeds. But anyway, studies show that Brazil nuts are excellent for fighting cognitive decline and age-related diseases. Now, there's something very important you need to know about Brazil nuts. One nut can give you 100% of your daily requirement for selenium. But be careful, because if you eat too many Brazil nuts, you can end up with something called selenium toxicity. Symptoms of selenium toxicity include hair loss, tremors, and problems with your nervous system. Now, how many Brazil nuts does it take to become toxic? Well, it takes about 70 Brazil nuts. And I'm talking about the average person. If you're a woman who's pregnant or breastfeeding, don't eat more than 2 Brazil nuts per day. Selenium is very important for men's health, prostate health, but again, everything in moderation. 1 serving of Brazil nuts is 6. Now, I've never met a man who didn't like Brazil nuts. There's just something about that creamy texture and the taste of Brazil nuts that men love. It's just a fact. So that brings me to the next point. Are there any nuts that seniors should avoid? Yes, there is. There is one nut that seniors should avoid, and that's canned nuts. Why? Because if you eat nuts that have been sitting on shelves for a long time, especially if they're canned, they end up oxidizing. So they develop off flavors, and they become rancid. So here's what you do. Buy raw nuts, okay? Buy raw nuts and dry roast them yourself in a dry pan on low heat. That way you know that they're fresh. Now, if you don't want to roast them yourself, you can buy them roasted, but make sure that they're roasted in a dry pan with no oil. Okay? If they're roasted in oil, that means they're going to be fried, and you don't want that. You want them roasted in a dry pan. This way you'll get that nutty flavor that we all love, and you won't oxidize the nuts. So that's what you need to know about nuts. Just keep it simple. Eat the right ones in moderation, and you will live a healthier life.